Hi folks, Kieran here again. I hope you're all good. This is a reply video to Hythloday, his video which is called Suffering Sucks versus Murder is Wrong, Utilitarianism versus Deontology, ? Hi Hythloday, I've been following your videos for quite a while, a couple of years I think, and really like your videos, and I've meant to do a reply to you before, but it hasn't quite happened yet. In your video you're discussing how you think antinatalism is a little bit like utilitarianism, or is an example of utilitarianism, or is some kind of negative utilitarianism. Now I've been a utilitarian most of my life. I've kind of switched my views within utilitarianism a bit, and maybe softened my position slightly on it, but I still would regard myself as a utilitarian. And so I'm kind of interested in your take on utilitarianism. I know you've done a few videos before about it, and I think I meant to. That's when I meant to respond to you. Quickly to deal with this point about antinatalism, which isn't the main thing I want to discuss, but I think your point about antinatalism, I'm not sure if it's right, because I've read this book by David Benatar, or The Antinatalist, and he seemed to be more of a kind of rights kind of man, and I don't think he would bring somebody into the world. I don't think he thinks it's right to bring someone into the world in any case, even if that person would reduce suffering for others greater than the amount of suffering that person would experience him or herself. So I don't think he's a really greater good man. I don't know about Emendham and the other antinatalists, to be honest. I'm not sure what the detail is of their view. Though there are negative utilitarians out there. I believe Karl Popper, the philosopher, was supposed to be one, and this guy David Pearce is also a transhumanist, and I think he's a negative utilitarian. But anyway, I'm a positive utilitarian. I should explain my utilitarianism. I used to be a hedonistic utilitarian, but now I've kind of softened or broadened my position, so I've actually kind of developing my own brand of utilitarianism, which I call pan-intuitionist utilitarianism. I really have to think of a snappier name for it. The idea is that I'm not just maximizing happiness or preference or stuff like that. I'm going to maximize pretty much anything that anybody values. I'm actually going to judge, not just use my own intuitions to decide what is of value. I'm actually going to take other people's ideas of value kind of seriously, and then combine. The idea is to combine all these values together and maximize them in a kind of rational way, and kind of maximize the whole lot or something. I'm not exactly sure of the details, and I'm also not quite sure what's kind of making the cut in terms of what I should be maximizing or what I shouldn't. And I think pleasure, well, something like freedom or preference satisfaction, I think they are things to maximize, but I'm not quite sure where other things fit in, like traditions and some other more sort of right-wing ideas. Anyway, so that's where I'm coming from. Kind of 2 points I'd like to make about what your kind of angle on utilitarianism. First of all, you seem to be saying in this video that you think that murder is wrong, and that's a kind of absolute. But what I'd say to you with that is, what about if a huge number of people were about to be killed, and you had to murder one person to save those lives? I mean, what if you had to, in order to destroy an asteroid that's about to hit the Earth? What if there's, for some reason, there's like one innocent person whose body has got this capability of exploding and making a huge explosion? The only way to stop this asteroid is to like fire him off or her off in a rocket, and that will like save billions of lives on Earth. Don't you think, even though it wouldn't be obviously a fun thing to do, or wouldn't be a nice thing to do, it would be terribly unpleasant for the person concerned, wouldn't it be right overall to sacrifice the one for such a huge number, even if the person doesn't consent? Last point is you're talking about these dystopian films. I think you mentioned 3: 1984, Demolition Man, and this thing called Divergence, which I haven't heard of, and I'll have to check that out because I'm a big fan of dystopian things as well, and utopian things. Unfortunately, I've seen Demolition Man, but it's so long ago I really can't remember anything about the society depicted in the film. I thought it was a pretty good film, but can't remember anything about it. But 1984, I mean, I don't see what's utilitarian about it. I think that the ruling elite in 1984 are just doing it for themselves or something, or even this not even benefiting them. Perhaps it's a kind of, I don't know, this totalitarianism has taken hold, but I'm not quite sure how it's for the greater good. It seems to be for the greater bad, really. And that's I think true of most of these utopias. I mean, these dystopias rather. I think I'd like to hear you kind of spell out how these are kind of these are examples of utilitarianism gone awry, or utilitarianism doing what you expect it to do, which is bad stuff. I think Brave New World was on the tip of your tongue, though, I suspect, at one point in the video. And I admit Brave New World is possibly an example of utilitarianism in action. But I would challenge people to explain why it's such a bad society. I mean, is actually Brave New World worse than our world that we currently live in? Is it that bad? I mean, a lot of people are very happy, and I think it could be a criticism of hedonistic utilitarianism, which I now reject. So because it is kind of focused on happiness and not so much on culture and so on. But if you have a more enlightened rather utilitarianism that I kind of follow now, then I wouldn't want to see Brave New World exactly as it is, but the criticism kind of I think that deals with the criticism that it's just narrowly focused. Anyway, Hythloday. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I don't know sure what Hythloday or Hythloday refers to, so forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. Anyway, I hope you like my video, and hear from you all soon. All the best.